and tripped beach. Oh yeah, full of tender girls, yes. We love I love flying to a wire like a close to me. Got 5 hours to the land with an ocean breeze. See nigga views, good food, and the woman tender. Bay Area. To the islands with a culture blender.
Tell me something about the water.
It is oh so tender.
Are there beaches everywhere?
Take a drive and end up on the side of the road. Stop it is a must. Take a list.
Good evening. Welcome to the MIZZES Best Reviews channel. We are here with James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. We just got done recapping the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which you can find in the Salt Lake City playlist. Please go watch it so that he can get views. Give him a subscription.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Yes, you will not be disappointed. I even washed my mouth. I didn't cuss once. I am so proud of myself.
You did it. That's a good thing. That's hard to not curse. That for me is, I think I did curse. That's impossible.
You did, but that's okay. But I can't guarantee the same for this video. They definitely watching my mouth with all this that didn't happen on this episode.
Lord. Anywho, we are here to recap season 5, episode 9 of Love and HipHop Miami. As always, your friendly reminder for those who hear the intro to the show. If you want to hear the music, it is in the description. It belongs to Oh So Best. I received a message from someone asking about that, so there is your answer. Anywho, we're going to jump right into the episode. The first thing we saw was Florence El Luce. I just feel like they're trying to push her situation with Marlon and this whole thing as like kind of how Stevie J and Jocelyn, all that happened years ago, but you can't redo that. No one will ever come close to.
Not even in the slightest. And it's like I'm sick of Flo. I'm sick of Flo. I'm sick of Marlon. I'm sick of Gael. I'm sick of the alleged girlfriend, because I don't even believe that's the girlfriend. I'm sick of everybody. Like, I'm just sick of them in this whole story, because this sounds not only crazy but unbelievable. So, you know, just saying.
I mean, shit. Pretty much what James said, I agree with. It sounds crazy and unbelievable, but hey, apparently it's happening. So she's rehearsing. I'm just gonna keep it real. I know I'm not Beyonce. I know I'm not Tupac. I may not be the greatest actress, but I have an ear and I can spot talent, and this girl does not have any. She doesn't. I don't know what Flo does. Since she's been on the show, from her little song with Ray J when she was in the studio, to the songs that I've heard on Spotify, to seeing her professionalism and performances. I mean, anybody can make it in music, because what the hell? I just don't see the talent she has. The song is okay, but it doesn't require much. I don't get it. Anywho, we find out she's going to be performing at the same event, a Haitian festival that happens in Miami every year. This festival we saw Flo at last season, and she got booed off the stage because of her shenanigans. Because in real life, you guys, not on reality TV, like in the scope of real life, you can't act like this and think that anybody is going to want to hire you or be contractually stuck to you, which is how a lot of what goes on in the independent music realm and in the industry goes. So it's just a hot. I can't take Flo serious. So we see Claudia, who's supposed to be her girlfriend. I don't think she really is. I agree with James there. And she's asking about Gael. And she finds out that Gael and Flo have made up. Last time Claudia saw Gael was throwing a drink in her face. But if you're keeping your spouse a secret, if you know that you're a secret kept, maybe don't fight with the sibling. It just all seems messy. The other thing that makes it not believable, Flo, you're supposed to be heartbroken because your sister slept with your husband. Your sister's friend and family friends have slept with your husband. He was a community dick. That's basically what it is. And so now I'm like, is this just what you're doing? Because you went in your same community to pick a girlfriend. Now, it's not as bad because you're not cheating, but I'm like, is there no one else in the city of Miami available for this girl to date? Why is everybody dating each other and sleeping with each other in the same group? Oh, you're muted, boo. You muted.
So this is not real. That's the answer. Yeah. This is not real. This is weird because, once again, as you said, though, there's plenty of people. Marlon's not going to allow her to be with no man on this TV show. That's too much on his ego. He gonna let her be with a woman because that's laughable and deplorable. So very much so, that's why I don't believe this is real.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Yeah,
you know.
I agree. That's the only plausible explanation. So we're going to move on, because if we don't think it's real, then we're not going to waste our breath. Basically, the next thing we see is Amara La Negra. She meets with Eliza Reign. Eliza Reign, it looks like, is going to be a new cast member, a staple on the show. She is the baby mama of Future, former stripper turned into real estate agent. Hey, I respect it. She found a career for herself. Apparently, she knows all these people. And it comes up when those two are meeting that Shay went to Safaree's birthday party and Amara did not go. I guess Eliza was kind of throwing a little bit of like, why is Shay there? And I get it. You're on your friend's side, but you could be on your friend's side without stirring the pot. So I'm like, Eliza, you looking a little messy. Like, hear what she has to say, but don't start throwing stones. And I don't see an issue with Shay being at Safaree's birthday party.
I didn't see an issue with that either, because if we were to believe, which we don't, if we were to believe that Amara and Safaree were together, there is a history between Safaree and Shay. They've been on the show together before. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're friends. They're in the same industry. They're in the same network together. So why would she be at the party? That's ridiculous.
The other thing is, Shay's dude, no matter how we all feel about it, like, he's friends with Safaree. So yeah. Sometimes, you know how many times I've had to go places with my husband around a bunch of people I don't know or like care to be around. This is called being on the arm of your spouse.
Well, it's not even so much that. It was like, yeah, you could be, just the arm candy for your spouse, but at the same time, it's like you have a level of respect that even if like you don't want to be in the same realm, you're not going there to be disrespectful. You want there to put your best foot forward and be cordial. And maybe that's what Shay did. We don't know what Shay did at the party because I didn't pay attention. But I'm sure it wasn't to the extreme where we got to make an issue out of nothing. Like, that's really what we're doing.
Yeah. I agree. So, I don't know. I guess Eliza feels it's weird. It's not weird that she's doing this. And then what ends up coming up, the only relevant part of the conversation for me to talk about, is the rumors about Fabo, which is Shay's baby daddy. And that's when production show Miss Tasha K. Now, I know a lot of people like to hate on Tasha K because the way that she can deliver her message sometimes is not so gentle, I will say. However, I know a lot of people also don't like Tasha K just off the strength that her and Cardi B were in court, and she did lose in court to Cardi B. However, we have to look at what she was sued for. She was not sued for telling lies. When you speak of people in a certain way, you can defame their character. And that's what she did when speaking about Cardi. But she didn't really tell lies. So that's the only...
It wasn't a lie?
Some of it was not. I believe she embellished it. I'm not going to say what's true or what's not true. However, it is true that Cardi was a stripper and some other things in her background. Now, as for her being a prostitute, I think that's what she said about her or some shit. I don't think that's true. Okay. And that's probably why they went to court. But not everything she said was a lie. But she did go in on her.
My thing is this, I don't dislike Tasha K. I actually think she's quite amusing, and I can respect the platform regardless of the outcome of that. I can respect the platform that she built here on YouTube. It's not easy. It's not easy to get in front of a camera and be in front of all y'all and having to face the scrutiny that y'all want to place, because a lot of y'all like to be, computer thugs in type of way, and that's just what you do. And I'm gonna take a page out of Tasha K, but I ain't gonna block you. I ain't gonna do nothing. We can agree to disagree. I read your comments. I will put a heart on it. If I feel like responding, I will respond. That's just pure point blank. You can talk about me. You can talk about my hairline. You can talk about my widow speak. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't really care. So yeah.
Listen. So they put this information with Tasha K. Speaking about Shay's dude out there, and I'm gonna just say this: I had someone who subscribes to me and follows me on Instagram send me a post and some other stuff. And in that, I saw on IG, there are people from Milwaukee, like actual people from Milwaukee, I guess where Fabo was from, saying that they know the family. They remember seeing him around and things of that nature. So listen, that's all I would say. It's not looking good. And based on Shay's choices in men on television and in life, I would not be surprised if some of these rumors were true. Shay's also on the internet right now saying just wait to play out to see what a narcissist can do in regards to Fabo. And she has suddenly, since the last episode, taken down pictures of her and him and the family when they were there before, literally previous to the episode airing, where she allowed him to treat her mama like complete dog poop. So I don't know what's going on with that. But allegedly, the Tesla is stolen. Now, if y'all go and watch the earlier recaps of this season, me and James spoke about the fact that, especially me, I thought that Shay paid for the Tesla. But apparently, the Tesla belongs to the other woman, the fiance.
The fiance.
Mind you, Mama D spoke about these rumors earlier. In addition, Fabo apparently has an ex-wife and 6 kids in Jamaica. So I'm like, what the hell is going on with this guy? Because the ex-fiance and baby mama's in Milwaukee. But a few episodes ago, weren't we discussing the fact Mama D said he has an ex and 6 babies in Jamaica? So I'm like, first of all, how many kids does he have? What is he trying to do? Nick Cannon?
Because does he have kids with the ex-fiance? Okay, so let me make sure I understand this right, because now I got to.
And Shay says, and here's the part that makes it look weird, y'all. We're not just trying to be messy, but Shay said in the beginning of this season of HipHop Miami, he said he want to be near his daughter. I said, okay, well, I'll never keep it from it. He said he won't be too. I said, oh. So he supposedly moved to you to be close to his kid. What about the other ones?
So how many is it? Because I know you said 6 in Jamaica. He got 1 with Shay. How many does he have with the fiance?
I believe 3.
So
he's got a tribe of kids.
He got 10 kids. Allegedly, he has 10 kids. Wow. And then you over here.
Wow.
You over here taking people's cars and gifting them as presents for somebody else.
I don't think.
Like, and the thing about it is, when that came out. Oh, I'm delayed, y'all. I think it's my service. Let me get off camera real quick. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So let me make sure I understand this. So Shay, because lady has 3 kids from what we're alleging. So you ain't see like a barbecue sauce stain from McDonald's. You ain't see
I'm
no.
So done with you. I'm so done.
You ain't see no like Capri Sun on the seats or nothing. You just took the car and just drove around this lady's shit. Like I'm trying to understand. Like I'm really trying to understand how you did notice that was somebody else's shit she was driving.
Listen,
because the lady came and got her car from what we heard allegedly.
How do you give a car that belongs to somebody else? Hola, EXO, hola. I know you're used to song reviews. We're just here talking about Love and Hip Hop Miami. But I'm just like, how the hell? It's giving Jennifer Williams with that Range Rover that was stolen, but the court was like not so much on her side about it being stolen. That's what this situation reminds me of. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
It's definitely
how you receive a gift from your man. And I'm just saying, like, how do you give someone a car? I've received a car from a spouse who's in the house, like, and not know or check if it's in your name or not. Like, if I receive a substantial gift, like a vehicle or something, which I have, and I've gifted my husband with a vehicle, whose name is it in? You always check the paperwork. And I feel like Shay didn't check the paperwork. Or Shay checked the paperwork and she's lying. I think Shay knew what she was doing and didn't think that, from what we'll get into it more later in the episode. But Shay is definitely looking a little suspect. James is like, I can't wait. So, anywho, The next thing we see is the clip to Shay and Von Shay talking. You got to question this because Shay, when she was on Flavor of Love years ago, was 20 something, mid 20s, like almost late 20s. That was a long time ago. This is like a mature adult. Shay is not as young as
Flavor of Love season 2 happened in 2006.
Child, I was a freshman.
Yes, that happened in 2006. That was 17 years ago. 17 years ago. How old did Shay say she was?
She was 20 something on Flavor of Love. I'm about to Google it. How old was
Bucky?
How old was Bucky on Flavor of Love? I'm about to Google it. I want to know because let us find out that Shay was 20 something, 30. That is like she was born in 1983. She's 40 years old. September 30th, 1983. She's a 40-year-old.
So she was 23 when she was on Flavor of Love, is what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So now that makes me this person talking about they was born in 2006. Oh, okay.
Oh my word.
Way to make
I was a freshman in high school. Please
I was a junior and
You're gonna
I graduated, and so that means you was 2 when I graduated high school. Thank you for making me feel so old. Love you. But you know,
over here like we feel old as hell now.
Yes, I feel old now. Thank you. But still
he was born. I was getting into marijuana and other nefarious activity. Look at this. I had good grades though. Don't play with me.
Anyways, what was my point?
Shay.
What was my point? Shay was 23. So that means to tell me, because Flavor Flav was 48 when that happened, I believe. So you mean to tell me that you was not gonna go how Flavor Flav was, because I believe Flavor Flav was 48 at that time.
How old was William Drayton? I just could not. Y'all, my point.
So Flavor Flav is 64. So 17 years ago, he was 47 years old.
Oh, that's
so you can tell me you went on the show when you was 23 years old with Flavor Flav of all people that was 47. I don't know. Something is wrong with Bucky. Something is wrong with Bucky.
Very wrong with her. And the reason I wanted to bring up the age, y'all, is not to age shame or nothing like that. Hell, I'm 31. I'm getting up there. But what in real life, realistically, outside of business or family membership, in my opinion, what the hell is a 40-year-old doing hanging out with a 24-year-old just recreationally? Like, the older I get, the more I look at stuff like that. And I'm like, the friends I've had that are like 40 plus aren't the best examples of mature adults all the time. Some of them are great, but not all of them. So I'm like, Shay, you're hanging out with Von Shay. It just says a lot about your own maturity, because what do you and this little girl have to talk about? It makes no sense. So they're talking, and Shay claims she's trying to play the middle man between Von Shay and Amara La Negra. And for those who don't remember what happened on the last episode, the reason she wants to play the middleman is because Von Shay feels like Amara La Negra was not there for her when she put that unnecessary GoFundMe up for her daughter. And so she feels like Amara's not a friend, but has been a friend to Eliza. She decides to throw drinks and do all this crazy stuff with her in a previous episode. So they're talking about it, and Shay says she wants to be the middleman. I'm like, Shay, how are you going to counsel somebody through solving a problem when you yourself don't know how to get through a problem without throwing a fit like a 15-year-old girl on her period who's just been dumped by her boyfriend at homecoming? Like, I don't understand Shay's anything. It makes no sense. So it just seems like with the issue with Amara and Von Shay, Amara, if you felt like your friend didn't need the GoFundMe, then you should have said, hey, you shouldn't do this. Here's why. I'm willing to help you in however I can, but you shouldn't do this. And then leave it there. But at the same time, Von Shay, you can't be mad at people. You could tell she's 24. Remember, Von Shay's hella young. And her expectations, when you're 24, your expectations out of people in my opinion, for a lot of people are unrealistic. We expect too much. Well, that lady has twin daughters. She is not going to always answer the phone to support you. Hell, there's been times me and James have gone months without speaking. Nothing bad has happened. We're just
nothing bad has happened.
We're just living life. Like,
yeah, it's like when things happen, we both are busy. So, you know, especially when you were working at the car dealership or wherever that was, you was
I
working
was
that
busy.
she was busy. Even on vacation, she was answering the phone and taking work calls, and I was mad at her for that because I was like, "Look, yeah, exactly." But my thing about Vache is, see, go back to the episode because I felt like I was mad at Amara for not being there for her when that baby was going through that, and I still feel somewhat about that. But then Vache's behavior on this episode made me change my whole opinion. So if y'all go back to the last episode, I had mentioned. I said that I felt like there's resentment of her going to school and getting that degree. I had said that in the last video. This behavior now has now validated and vindicated my point of how she's acting, because she's now, one, being completely ignorant and you taking this rebelling thing to the extreme. And even on Instagram, when she went live, it was like, wow. So this is a doctoral candidate, and this is how you act? That's amazing to me.
People have to remember with shows, for example, like Married to Medicine, listen, when you have doctors, I think that's why I appreciate shows like Married to Medicine is what I'm trying to say, because it shows that like doctors are people too. They gonna slip. But 24 years old as a doctoral candidate, that's a lot of responsibility that most people in the population don't experience. It's so much responsibility as a doctor. It just is, of any sort. And I'm looking at Vache like, girl, you're live. We're going to talk about that live too for about like 5 minutes at the end of the video, because it's relevant.
Excluding the live, even if, because let me explain something. You're a doctoral candidate. There is a lot of eyes on you once you graduate. So all somebody has to do is Google you and figure out that you were on the show on Love and Hip Hop. And guess what? No government official job is now going to hire you because you act erratic. They're going to say that.
Yeah.
Even with your doctorate. That's why I said there is resentment with her getting this degree. And I said this because I saw that in her. And my discernment, y'all, usually, with the exception of maybe a few times, is very spot on. And I was very spot on with her, even though Mrs. Best didn't want to see it at first. She's seeing it now because I said it from the beginning.
He has. Yeah, Vache, I still feel, I see it, but I still see it as, I think the issue she has with her school, it all links to her parents, obviously. If someone's forcing you to do something that is not on your heart or your spirit to do, you know, versus something you're just told to do or can easily work toward, it's going to be a hot mess. But James made the biggest point. Like, you a doctoral candidate. That's a thing. I can tell you from personal experience when I've worked as a financial manager, as well as even retail store managers. I can tell you when I hire people, I do look into their social media. So if I'm doing that just for motherfuckers to work with me at retail cashiering, I guarantee people considering you as a doctor are going to be looking into that. So it's very you just have to be careful with what you do. And that's probably where that resentment comes from, because not only has she been forced to go to school, but she's forced to go to school as something where she can't really live her life or experiment in the way that people so young can do. I used my 20s to, I don't worked as a car dealer, a credit counselor, partying on Vegas on the weekends, started a bit like did all this random stuff. She can't really do that because she has to be careful with what she does. And honestly, just with who she chose to marry, I think that's going to fuck her.
Absolutely. You don't think that because he's a criminal? He's a felon.
So they're going. He's a felon with a sobriety issue.
Absolutely. Then they're going to look at that too. And it's like, that's why I said she screwed her. That's why I said this was that getting that degree is a resentment, because Most people I know that are directorial, I know a few of them. We both know a few of them. They are cautious about every single thing. They don't post on their social media, not even politics, because they are so afraid that wherever they go and practice whatever field they got the degree in, they're so afraid that the contract that they're going to get is now going to be in void because of a personal feeling that they feel on social media or something. So the fact that she's acting so reckless, that's what made me say I feel like she resents that degree. And when I say resent the degree, meaning that that wasn't necessarily her choice. She may have had 2 or 3 options in her home, and she chose that one against her own will.
So this conversation gets even more interesting because Vache then changes the topic from Amara and her issue. And it turns into a thing with Fabo. So she asked Shay, like, how you doing, dealing with all the Fabo rumors and shit. And Shay looks at production. She was like, I'm not talking about that. And then looks at a producer. A producer comes, breaks the fourth wall, comes into the camera and also all sorts of shit. And she says, I told y'all I wasn't talking about this. I told y'all I'm not doing this. So, Shay, you got some fucking nerve, bitch, with them heavy ass 40-pound wigs. I can't understand why you, who has literally been on television for over 2 decades, and every time we see you, you're in someone else's business, bringing up someone else's business. But whenever it comes time for you to discuss your business, your issues, for you to be real on our TV screens, including when you were on your Iyanla Fix My Life, you run the hell away. You run the hell away faster than a damn antelope running from a lion. I don't know. You run. That girl be running away. She gets up and leaves altogether. She's like, I'm not filming no more. I'm going to call my Uber, even though she has a Tesla. Like, I'm just like, okay, Shay, you're going to get up and walk away because you don't want to talk about rumors with Fabo, but you're literally specifically on Love and Hip Hop for 5 seasons, have beefed and have physical altercations with people season after season because you want to bring up rumors about them. But now that something's coming up about you, you don't want to talk about it. I can't, James. I cannot understand Shay for that.
No, this is what she does. And that's what frustrates me about her. It's like you can dish it, but you can't take it. Mm-hmm. At some point, y'all have to understand, when y'all light a match, if you don't let it go, it's gonna burn you. Mm-hmm. So, and the point is that you can expect to air out everybody else's shit, but then when people circle back around to point at your shit, you want to then get defensive and run. It's like, no, you can't do that, ma'am. You got to sit in it because you on TV. It's gonna catch you in one way or another.
Yep. I think maybe she's still used to Flavor of Love, which that time for reality TV, you didn't really show much. It was mostly competition, reality, and dating shows. But honey, she should know better. So moving on, we see Trick Daddy cooking. I did look up Sundays. It is still open. We'll see his restaurant later on the show. James asked about it last season. I'm trying to get James to go to his restaurant and start giving us a little.
What's it called again?
Vlog. Sundays, like the day. But I'm listen. I looked at it. He had good reviews. I was like,
oh, okay, that's not actually that far from me.
It's not far from you at all. So maybe we can get James to do us like a little food vlog, give a little food opinion.
Absolutely, I definitely will.
He's like with content over here. But we see Trick cooking, and he basically says, remember, he has the Hollywood twins. These are his nieces, and basically they are supposed to be living with him because they want to get their music career started. And obviously he's a good person to go through. So we saw last episode, they can't rap. They have no idea what they're doing in the studio. And they're just not all of that. They look like they TikTok girls who might have recorded a little song on BandLab and kept it moving. Like, nothing too serious. So basically, he's upset because he booked a second session for them to practice and get them adjusted to being in the studio. They missed the session. They come in the house late, half naked again, with their stiff titties, claiming that they're networking. And for me, I'm kind of like, I hate people in the music industry who do this, who act like you have to network and be in the club. Now, you do have to network, but you can't do shit without a song. So if y'all only have this little song that people can only access on TikTok, you're not going to go anywhere, get anything, or really make money like that. Like, you got to blow up longer. You can't just be TikTok famous. That's not enough to interest the world. So these girls don't seem to understand that. They claim they was at the club because they're networking, but networking what? You have no music, so you'll make connections, and then when they're like, "Oh yeah, can you play me something?" You have nothing. It's a hot mess. So he explains that basically they fucked up, and I cannot take them seriously. So I'm not even going to ask James for an opinion. I'm just going to move forward.
No, move forward because I don't have one.
Show. I don't get it. Leave Trick to just be with the dudes and say ignorant shit. I don't care about these girls. So the next thing we see is Sukihana. She's back from her trip in London. Now, Sukihana, this is why nobody take you seriously. You start the season talking about you don't want to be ghetto no more, but you're in London talking to British people loudly on the streets, just, again, making a place that already looks down on Black people, giving them a reason to look down on us, shaking ass and all that on the corner in London. I don't understand it, but Trina is at this party and she's like, "Oh, I'm so tired, but I made it." Trina, shut up. I'm sick and tired of Trina talking about how tired she is when she's at the events. Bitch, if you're so tired, then don't come to every event. You're a legend in your city and nationally. You can say no to some stuff to go to sleep, because I'm getting tired of hearing that. Like, please, can we get Trina off of this show? Because she doesn't do anything but complain, scream and holler when she doesn't get her way. And I'm just tired of seeing Trina. I don't care. That's how I feel about it. Basically, at the party, we see Zoe come through. So Zoe Breaks and Sukihana, we find out, have a long history. Zoe Breaks used to do hair for Sukihana, and it looks like Suki, like, that's the thing. Suki's real ghetto, but she seems to be sweet and there for the ones who, are in her life and things of that nature. So they talk about the little issue that Zoe Breaks had with Trina and Joy in previous episodes. And Zoe says she's going to go in and, attempt to talk to her. But it seems like Zoe Breaks still doesn't get it. And it's just figured out that she needs to apologize to make it in the industry, because she still doesn't understand why Trina would get upset and why she would be put off of an album because of Joy. You weren't put off the album because of Joy. You were put off the album because of your behavior, for one. And for two, if somebody disrespect your cousin Zoe, you're going to feel the same way Trina does. Why would you want to work with somebody who don't get along with your blood, especially your blood that you hang out with and kick it with? So long story short, they do end up meeting up. Trina and them talk. Zoe ends up apologizing, but I still don't feel like Zoe gets it. James, do you have any opinions on Zoe Breaks and Trina's conversation?
No, I don't really have an opinion on that, just because I feel like they were both kind of on camera because they had to be. That's kind of what it felt like to me. I didn't feel like either one really was trying to hear the other one out. Like, even though Trina was like, well, what she said about, Super Cindy's, whatever she has, which, by the way, I saw her over the weekend at Pride. Shout out to Super Cindy, y'all. Beautiful woman.
Y'all have Pride in October?
Girl, Pride is like every month here almost.
Oh,
but yeah. but yeah, I saw Super Cindy over the weekend. Very beautiful lady. I don't believe Trina when she said that she didn't have any influence or any control over Super Cindy's event. I kind of felt like if I watched that episode back, I kind of felt like she was the reason why the girl didn't get to be a part of that event.
Yeah, she said, I don't know if I can work with her right now. As of now, it's a no. Trina said that.
Yeah.
And then she tried to throw it back on Cindy. Like, well, it's Cindy's choice.
Right.
I'm tired
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's weird. I feel like, Trina, you could make that phone call and tell Super Cindy, hey, I had a conversation with old girl. Go ahead and put her back on the whatever it was.
Right. Like, but Trina don't want to work with her. But Trina also don't want to look bad. And I think Trina Trina's had some bad press. I know she pissed off the Haitian community with some offensive remarks, which I think we're going to see later in the season. There's it's not just Zoe who's had that experience with her. I've also seen around online. All of this is alleged, but you know, it is what it is. Anywho's, the next thing we see is Trick Daddy and them twins in the restaurant. One moment, you guys. One moment. Apologies. Apologies. Anywho, the next thing we see is Trick Daddy and the Hollywood twins working in his restaurant. Sundays, which if you're in the Florida area, I encourage you to go. It looked good when I looked online. Basically, he has these girls working to teach them a lesson. I don't care. And now I'm moving on. I don't know why they're on TV and I want them to go to the call center of VH1. I don't care. It's insulting to artists.
Not you calling out the VH1 call center.
I am, because what the fuck? Why are they on our screen? Who are they interacting with on the cast? And there's cast members their age. They have no talent. I'm just wondering what it is that their purpose is.
Well, you heard it first. Yeah, VH1 call center. We do not know why these twins are here. We don't know what the purpose of bringing them on the show was for. So we need them to be removed. I don't want to see too many more episodes with the bin.
So, yeah, we're just going to leave that there. I'm not interested in them. So the next thing we see is a meetup between Shay, Von Shay, Eliza Rain, Amara La Negra. They each brought their friends there who are supposed to, I guess, be like mediators or something. They go to talk in a public place. Shay's still ducking rumors about Fabo. Throughout the show, they just kept throwing little, confessionals in. She don't want to talk about it. That's whack. That's whack, Shay. I think you're going to lose a lot of respect from a lot of people because as loud and as big as your mouth and wigs are, Shay, we would expect you to at least talk about your own stuff. But it is what it is. I'm sick of Von Shay as well. From her lives to her behavior, she really does behave like a 24-year-old who's not yet gotten to that place of adulthood where they're ready to address their temper, if that makes sense. So I'm just sick of Von Shay. So Amara and everybody talks, and Amara ends up saying, like, Von Shay, I've only known you a few months. Like, you're acting like we were the closest of friends. And I kind of got where Amara was coming from because we know you've only known this girl a few months because she only been public in Gunplay's life for a few months. So, and he's barely back on this show himself. So Von Shay really, in my opinion, is lucky to be there because if you guys remember previous seasons ago, they didn't want Gunplay back on the show because he was so problematic and inconsistent with his sobriety. It's a problem. So now he's back on the show, and Von Shay doesn't seem to realize that we didn't care who she was and we're not interested in her outside of him. That may sound very mean to say, but
no, it's real. No, that ain't mean. That's not mean at all. Because the problem is that no, we did not care. No, we do not know who she is still. And based on what she is showing us, it's not very good for her to have what she has and act like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, yep, we're going to leave it there. That's how I feel about this girl. Von Shay's digging a hole for herself. At this point, it's not Gunplay. It's not the GoFundMe that's making her look bad.
Well, it was about that. And that's the crazy part. You said something that's very profound. We tried to look past the fact that they had the GoFundMe, that she was, young enough to be his child and everything of that. We looked past that and tried to give this girl a chance. And she fell on her own sword and literally became nothing of what we thought she could have been. And that's what's so unfortunate, because I hate to see somebody who has an education, who is a doctoral candidate, she frustrates me. Because there are people who would love to have had the dedication, to have had the money to be able to do what she did, but they didn't because they've had to drop out of school because it got too expensive, or they had to
Honestly,
think about the live.
I would love
So
to get my PhD. Always wanted one since I was a little girl. Can't afford it. So I'm stopping at the master's. Cannot afford it. So I appreciate you for saying that. That girl is. I'm tired of Vanshay, y'all. Does it show? Basically, they get into an argument, and Vanshay decides that Little Miss, I was raised in this area where I shouldn't have this type of aggression, suddenly becomes aggressive. I think Vanshay's taken out her frustrations and disappointment in her husband, career, resentments, all of that out on Amarda. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's appropriate. It's Vanshay is going to make herself disliked by the public, which is going to make it difficult for her to get sponsors and deals to make money outside of this show. In addition to that, she's probably lost all respect from her potential colleagues in her field of work. She's not trying to go into mental health where people are forgiving and understanding of your fuck up. She's trying to work for the government, prosecuting people. So they don't want to deal with that. This girl throws a drink in Amarda's face again. And I hate that. I think that's so disrespectful to throw a drink or food or spit
and let's
on
not
someone.
forget, you guys. Sorry to cut you off, but I want to make a point here. Remember, she's in criminal justice, a doctoral candidate. She has now assaulted somebody.
Twice.
They are going to twice. They are going to Google this, ma'am. So I want to know what government city official office is going to hire this lady, having that big accolade of a doctoral degree, if this is how she behaves, because that is not rational. I wonder how she passed her introduction interview, because for those of you who do not know, when you become a city official, especially on the police function or the police force, what she wants to get into in criminal justice, you have to go through several tests, one of them being a polygraph test. I want to know how she passed that, if she took it.
Well, polygraphs are historically known to be inaccurate.
They're historically known to be inaccurate, but I want to know how she, with her, but here's the thing. I want to know her score, because she's irrational.
Score.
Because
she's just, James, I don't feel like, one thing I can say about the government, how do I say this politely without them coming after me? We don't have the most rational, skilled, mature, or intelligent people working within our government. That's all I'll say. Yes.
We might not, but they still have to comply with how to get in there. So we may not have the most effective people that are a part of that city official climate, but at the same time, that doesn't take away how to get up in there. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, they got to work on that, because there's too many crazy people in the fucking government. So that tells me that whatever they do to let people in, either the people conducting it, they conducted these evaluations right.
Oh, no. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying, because we're talking about a black woman here. We're not talking about some white man or some lily white lady that, has a cousin, a brother, a father that was part of the function, and that's how they snuck up in there. We're talking about a black lady where you already have a target on your back just for being your color and you being a lady. And you're trying to get into a field that your brother is in, mind you. Your brother is in. But do you really think those people above him are going to look at her, Google her, and see all this shit and think that she's going to get hired? I highly doubt. Whoever she gets hired for, wow, I want a job. Just saying.
I cannot with James. Anywho, I think everybody can kind of understand that we don't have the most respect for Vanshay. She goes, hits Amarda, challenges her to fight her, and Amarda says what we all be thinking. Y'all be so hard when there's security or over the internet and you can't get to somebody. But girl, we seen your mama and your daddy and how you was raised. Sit it down. I don't know what's with these kids that grow up okay. I'm not saying rich or anything like that, but these kids who grow up okay and be acting and talking and thinking they could fight. Girl, calm down. You throwing stuff. You're throwing beverages and stuff. Like, what are you doing? Von Shay is a hot mess and it's not resonating well with the fans. Anywho, moving on, because they get separated and they can't do shit. The security guards are there. I just felt bad for the nurses. I don't know if anybody's watching, but the restaurant they were in, it was actually populated. There were people looked like eating lunch or dinner after their hospital shift. They was in scrubs. They're looking like, oh my God. Like, I just cannot. So next thing we see is Shay and Fabo talk. And we know that James is going to have a mouthful. I know that James is going to have two mouthfuls.
You have no idea.
He is the person at the buffet double fisting plates. Both hands are full. He going to have something to say because I think the whole world had something to say with this. So Shay and Fabo talk. They finally talk about the rumors. Shay's like, let's do this. Let's get into it. Shay, you look stupid. The fact that these rumors exist, whether they're factual or not, it just shows us you didn't do your research with who you got with, and that's concerning.
No, I don't agree with that. Let me explain something. She did her research. She knew what was going on. Something tells me, because here's the thing. I was going to agree with you, but let's look at history. When has she ever been the main chick in the situation?
Ooh.
I'll wait. So for people who are on Mrs. Best's subscribers that comment on this, can y'all tell me a time where y'all seen Bucky actually be the main one?
Never. You're right.
And don't say Pleasure P, because no, she was not.
No, he had that other lady.
Exactly. I know y'all was gonna try me with that one. No, he had that other lady. We saw what happened with Scrappy. He did this shit twice to her, Erica and Bambi. So I'm not finna sit up here and act as if what we're saying has any pertinence, because she has never been the main chick. So I don't feel that same way. Sorry, don't feel that same way at all.
The thing with Shay, and the reason I say didn't do her research, is because I just feel like when you date, you should look into the person you're dating. I don't think Shay does that with any person. I think she looks past every single red flag, ignores it, and hopes for the best. I don't expect for Shay to like research people, because I don't think she's intelligent.
No, I think she researches. I just think she thinks she's better than the person he has. I think that's the conversation.
Well, and yes, because we're going to see when she talks to him. She's like, well, you're mine now. So they need to. What do you mean you're mine now? That indicates that at one point
you knew he had somebody
else. You're telling yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yourself. So they play Tasha K. I say again, Tasha K has a reckless fucking mouth, but usually she doesn't spew lies. Usually. Sometimes stuff may be a lie, but we have to realize these people are getting their information from a source. I encourage Tasha K to do like Kempire does and cite her sources so that people can stop just saying she's lying about stuff because they don't like her. Anywho, we find out that Fabo has the woman in Milwaukee, and the lady is upset. He allegedly left her to be with Shay. Allegedly, Shay, when she found out she was pregnant, was not dealing with him. She called him like, I'm pregnant, was good, and that's why it was a secret. It's just heinous things that, the way he acts sound believable. So Shay's asking him, like, what, they saying she was your fiance now? What's that about? So obviously Shay knows about this woman. She's trying to make it seem like she knew nothing, but she keeps telling on herself. You obviously knew about this woman. You just didn't know she was a fiance. So you say. And so I'm looking at Shay like, separate from Fabo, why would you choose to have a baby with a man who's a divorcee that has kids with other people? Listen, when you yourself had no kids, that's weird as fuck to me. So in my opinion, Shay definitely knew what was going on with Fabo and this woman. And that man does not respect her. It's clear as day, but Shay doesn't respect herself. That's also clear as day. I don't understand how she could accept the answers. He just answered nothing clearly. So we see them moving and all this bullshit. And basically they're moving to a bigger house, she says. And I pray that man's name is not on the lease, because I know they didn't buy. That's all I'm gonna say. I pray that man's name is not on the fucking lease, because if so, You're stupid, Shay. He better not be on no paperwork. So her brother MJ pulls up because he wants to talk to him about how Fabo disrespected the mom. And when MJ tries to talk to him, he starts out respectfully and everything, trying to figure out what's going on. And when it's Fabo's turn to talk and he's responding, you could help pack a box. You could pack a box and talk to me. Why are you telling him to pack a box and talk to you as we see the movers with the moving company truck and then lifting stuff for you? You've hired movers, Fabo. So why does MJ need to pack a box? Talk to him. I don't understand it. So it becomes a problem, and MJ's like, I want all the smoke. They start to get into it, but security was there so quick. The security stepped in so quick. And basically Shay comes out, goes off on MJ, but not Fabo. And that's the scene. James, go ahead and give your opinions on it, because I just don't respect this lady at all. She disrespected her family for a
I don't respect her either, because I'm like, for real, Shay, for real. Like, it almost makes me think that you wanted him to go off on your mama because you still angry with her. So, because there's no way, if my brother is telling me that my man has been disrespectful to my mother, one, I'm going to question what was said. What did mama say? And I need you to apologize, because there's no way we're going to move forward if you don't. So the fact that she didn't do none of that, she is the exact definition of the bird that I thought she was. And I'm sorry. I have no respect for somebody who will allow their mama to get disrespected, because what does your brother have to lie for?
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me.
You got this.
And you knew something. And the thing about it is, she knew something that happened because you were there. So it's like, I'm sorry, no, but she is a clown for this.
Fabo keeps having problems with people in your family who have not had problems with your men before, and you've been in abusive relationships, comes out the mouth of your mama. Now, the common denominator and the problem is Fabo. He keep having problems with people. It don't matter who she put him around. That nigga's disrespectful. He's hella disrespectful. I'm seeing Jamaicans online, Jamaican community. I just want to say that Fabo is not a reflection of all of you. I'm seeing Jamaican men, Jamaican women online. Like, this is sad. Like, everyone's commented on the community. But it's like, that's just the example of how one person can really make an entire community of beings look bad. I think that shows that. But I don't think that the Jamaican community just has fucked up men. There's fucked up men in every community, but y'all listen, but we just seem to hear of more Jamaican men in situations where they're not behaving in the best way. But every community has its bad eggs, and I'm just gonna leave it there. Fabo is a bad egg. He's a bad egg. I don't like that. I know we're seeing online that Shay posted something with her mom crying over Fabo and was like, "I love you, mommy."
Too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
Too little, too late. You should have been crying on your mama's shoulders way before this.
You tried to make your mom look like the worst parent and the worst person
on more than one occasion.
Your anger for more than one, for years. And now I'm starting to see that, I mean, yes, our parents are responsible for our trauma and, you know, some of the negative attributes of us, but that doesn't mean they want you to be that way. It also doesn't mean they're the only people at fault. I just don't think Shay has loyalty to anybody but herself or that child, maybe. And
I don't think she's loyal to herself, because if she was loyal to herself, she couldn't have did what she did. I don't think she's loyal to herself. I think that the problem is that she's a hurt woman, and instead of getting the help, she runs from the help because she doesn't want to be accountable for what she does and the part that she plays in her own demise. That is crazy to me. When you and I actually say that out my mouth, that is crazy to me that everybody else is the problem but you. When you the one that's struggling in your own life. That's crazy to me.
In the words of DD Leaks, that's what you just gave. But James is absolutely right. I'm not disagreeing with him because he's my friend. He's absolutely 115% right. So Shay's a hot mess. Let's move it along. I think the consensus is we both know Fabo's full of shit. Shay was wrong. Shout out to you, MJ, because it's nice to see him outside of Amada. It's like, all right, this man may be a little lazier, obviously, in relationships or with his work ethic, but at the very least, he stands up for his family, and that's something Fabo's demonstrated he'll never do. So I'll give MJ kudos for that. Moving on, we see Florence Luce, and she's on her way to perform at the Haitian festival that happens every year in the Miami area. We're seeing a lot going on when she's trying to get there. It's the hottest day of the year, I guess, in Miami. They're saying it's not safe for people to be outside. I know Florida heat is different because y'all got to deal with that humidity, and that is a killer. But the heat wave's happening. Flo's freaking out. She's like, I don't have my dancers. I don't have Trina. Trina's not answering the phone, so on and so forth. You know, Flo is unprofessional as hell. She's trying to make it seem like it being hot in Florida is stopping her from performing. Flo, you lazy son of a gun. Florida, I don't live there, but my friend James does. And I feel like he would stop me if I was incorrect. I feel like Florida is used to hot days. Now, I know that there are some days that are hotter than most. I know that we had some record heat nationwide and globally this year, but you really gonna use the heat as an excuse as to why all this stuff is going wrong? I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
So I have been here for a summer officially. Yes, it is hot as hell, but the events are still here and it's still rolling. I have been to an event in the summertime. People still show up. What they do is they wait till the nighttime to do the event. So Flo is full of shit. But at the same time, even if her event was in the daytime, what they would do is nobody would show up, but the show was still going. So it wouldn't care if it was 5 people out there. She still got to perform. So,
here's the thing. Flo irritates me because when it comes to time, like, I guess I'm a little like, I understand people be late. I'm honestly on CP time most of the time, but I'm on time to the airport and I'm on time to work. Everywhere else can wait, in my opinion. So this is Flo's work. There's no reason that you should not prepare. Why are you just leaving your house an hour to when you have to be at a location that she's saying is like a 90-minute drive or something with traffic? If you also know that it's the hottest day. I know that the Miami area has traffic. It's a huge metropolitan area. So I'm like, all of these things could have been prepped for. Never book your schedule to where everything is close. The makeup artist is going to be here an hour before we have to leave out the door. No, the makeup artist should have been there 2 hours ago, maybe 3. You should, you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like she's trying to make herself look busier than she actually is.
Right.
And it's annoying. Either way, Florence Luce, we know, is unprofessional. We see Marlon come. I don't know why he's there or why security actually allows him to be there. Especially if you have a new girlfriend. This man slept with your sister. And you're still just allowing him to have access to you just willy-nilly. Weak, whack, pathetic. That's what I'll say. So Trina's late. The dancers are late. And she's called to perform. Her call time was 10:10. They come at 10:18. They say, listen, either get to the stage now or you're not performing. So she gets up and performs. She's trying to stall because she don't have her dancers and stuff. But honey, if no one's answering the phone and stuff, instead of freaking out, you should have been coming up with a plan for how you're going to perform. Tell the DJ, okay, don't play Trina's part of the song. I don't know where she is. Like, there are things that you can do to prepare. Flo did none of it. And on top of that, she's saying she doesn't know how she's going to carry the show without the dancers and Trina. Honey, if you're truly talented, that shouldn't be a fucking issue. So I'll leave it there.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's my recap for Love and Hip Hop Miami. The last thing I'll speak about really quick, because I have to cook dinner, is Vonshay's live. I'm just going to give my opinion on the live real fast. Hot Mess Express. Pretty much everything we've talked about in this show, she's demonstrated on her live. She went off talking about Amada leaving her kids with random men just for a babysitter. And I felt like a lot of what Vonshay said was bullshit. I think Amada dates random men all the time. That's a fact. I think she tries to hide it, but I don't think
that live was wild. Yeah, the fact that she said that she left her babies in a bathroom.
When her mama does nothing and is there to babysit. Stop.
Absolutely. And then she was talking about she literally picked up a man off the street and then had him watch her kids. I was like, okay, now you being silly. Now
Well,
you being
no,
silly.
those are the words of somebody privileged, and that's probably what you think girls from the hood is doing, just picking niggas up off the street. I saw right through that bullshit, Von Shay. I see you. I see you. I went to private school with a few African American girls like her. And I listen, I'm trying to tell you, they don't always think highly of their own people. That's all I'm gonna say. But Von Shay, the shit that she said about Amada, I think she's doing it because she probably is what James said, having issues getting into her career because she's done her dissertation and should have her degree completed. Because mind you, on the show, she's prepping for graduation. Where's the job?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting because I want to know who hired you.
She hasn't been. And I think that's
Yeah,
why
I
she's
want.
going
Yeah.
off on these people because she's got to find a way to stay relevant. But with what
Mm-hmm.
Gunplay did to you, maybe we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with
Masha, this
that.
is what I'm gonna tell you, baby. Just become a librarian. Do a law service librarian job. They make 120,000 a year, especially down here in this state. Just go ahead and become a law service librarian. Help people cite references. Help people, with criminal law. Help college kids. You actually can get a job at a college library and become the law service librarian and just do that.
You can. They
Because
paid
at this
at
point,
my school $175K a year, and I was like, what? To be a librarian? But it's California, so I don't know. But child, it's a mess. She's crazy. So that's all for the recap today, everybody. I appreciate those who tuned in and watched, and to those who liked the video, all of those things, those watching the live replay. I appreciate you as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel as well as James if you haven't. I do see that I did gain a subscriber while doing this during this recap. So thank you to that subscriber. If I could find your name, I would love to shout you out, but I will send you a welcome message thing, which I do to my subscribers. Anywho, I appreciate everybody. We will be back again next week around the same time to go over the next episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. There will be a Love After Lockup recap that's going to be happening this Saturday on the channel. And tomorrow we have our music video song review. So as always, I appreciate you guys. Be sure to subscribe to James's channel as well. I am Mrs. Best, and I hope you enjoy your evening.